Well, a warm welcome once again to this IIC session on IPR. So, who invented light bulb? We all are grown up with this answer that it is Thomas Alva Edison. Yes, Thomas Alva Edison who invented light bulb, but who made it usable? It is none other than Lewis Latimer. So, a dark guy who put us on brighter world. He filed a patent in 1881. The invention from Thomas Alva Edison was not lasting. That is because of the heat as well as the quality of that light, right? So hardly maximum 2 hours that bulb can be used. But this guy, Lewis, who found out a new way of creating a longevity in this brightness using a filament, which he has been patented in 1881. Right now, the food for thought is whether the inventor file his own property, intellectual property, or the variation of that property can be patented, or the mix and match. So, a couple of properties being clubbed, and then we can file a patent. Now, the answer for this in my further slide. Why the why part of IPR? It is what made us to get into intellectual property, right? Now, the IPR helps us to understand the success of companies, technologies, whether they can rise in the business domain or decline their sectors. Now, the entire impact of IPR you can see in the social economy of any nation. India in 2017, we were at the global innovation index at 82 points scale, and today we are at the scale of 46 because of the changes in innovation policy as well as the importance for innovation. Now, before we get into intellectual property rights, we should know what type of business can be defined in industrial landscape, right? It is it is classified into four segments. The first one is lifestyle business, where calculated risk is involved. The based on the input, you can reap the benefit as a output. Here, risk is involved, but it is well defined. I can say a calculated risk. The second type of business is status quo business, where a business model is clearly defined and there is no dearth of going wrong anywhere. You can reap the benefits even though there is no input, right? So banking business, you can say, right, it's well-defined business model. The third type of business model is social cost, where you want to serve in bottom of the pyramid for the economic development of that sector. Here, there is a positives as well as negatives. Suppose it is an innovation which you can take it to the large population, then you can reap the benefits. Sometimes you may not get the required response unless you reach out to the government. So here it is plus as well as minus kind of risk involved in the social cause ventures. The last one is forced business, where we can say a high risk is involved, whether that product or service or the new invention is being opted by the market or not. However, these businesses are darlings of venture investors where they can get maximum benefit. The example is COVID vaccine, right? So nobody was aware till January 2022 in 2020 in India that there is COVID or Corona labeled any disease will crop up down the line. But there were researches going on in pharma companies to troubleshoot such consequences. However, they were not sure whether that medicine is a brahmastra for that disease, right? However, nobody has received or got license to market it globally. So such businesses, we call it as foresight businesses, where high risk and high unknowns are involved. Now, what type of businesses can be patented, right? To be frank, these high risk businesses where innovation plays a major role. right? It can be patented. So painkillers are preferred over vitamins because painkillers there is no go alternatives, whereas vitamins are substitutional. So based on your comfort zone, you can go for it. So painkillers we can patent, you can benefits even though you are not playing your role. So let us have a look what of IPR. So what type of properties we are aware of? The first one is movable property like car, furnitures, and other assets we can consider here. Immovable properties like land, building, which we are aware of, which can reap the benefits. But there is a third type of property which we call it as intellectual property, which nobody can steal from your end. If you are the owner, nobody can. But other two properties, either you can be cheated or that can be transferred. But intellectual property, unless otherwise exclusive rights being given, nobody can steal this. Now let us have a detailed picture about this intellectual property. The WIPO stands for Worldwide Intellectual Property Organization, refers to citations of mind, inventions, literacy, and artistic work, symbols, names, images, and designs used in commerce. So, whatever uniqueness you are applying in your business, maybe in terms of artistic work, symbol, name, images, or the technology, literacy, inventions itself can be considered as an intellectual property. In short, intellectual property is citation of human mind. As I said, it's the intellectual way of having your own rights. Intangible property, unless otherwise it is specified exclusively on paper, exclusive rights given by statutes, and it is time bound. Each and every IPR, we will discuss the different types of IPR, but each and every one IPR has its own life cycle and it is territorial. So if you are filing intellectual property rights on your name, it is geographic specific. Provided if you want to go globally, then WIPO is going to help you out. So if you file it in India, somebody can replicate it in other countries as well. Well, so here we can see two platters, right? Both are serving paratha, but one has its own uniqueness and the other one is with its own way of decorating things. So these two platters are from, one is the example of Chaitanya Paratha and second one is from Aoji Khaoji, right? So if you want to protect your own way of serving these dishes, then what type of intellectual property you can go for, right? Patents you cannot go for it. Then what else? We will see the differentiation here, right? So knowledge, we all are rich enough. Experience, once you connect the dots based on your knowledge pattern, you can generate experience. And this intellectual property is something like creativity, where you are imagining the pattern on a wall. Now, the difference between intelligence and intellect, one is about knowledge and second one is know-how about that knowledge. And know-how, that is intellectual properties coined around, right? How you are going to apply that knowledge. We call it as cognitive knowledge. Everyone is rich enough for that knowledge or intellectual assets, but the way you redesign, reconfigure, reuse to the entire world defines where you stand in the IPR landscape. Now, one of the types of intellectual property. One is when you see this hierarchy, right? There are three segments. One is industrial property, copyright and related rights, and third one is a traditional knowledge. These three are different segments, but they are under the umbrella of intellectual property. Now, when we focus on IPR in terms of industrial nature, right? So these industrial properties are considered as designs, patents, trademarks, and geographical geographical indications. So industrial designs are totally different. Patents where you can apply using technology, trademarks, your signages, your logo, or you can protect your trade secrets. Fourth one is a geographical indication. So these four are considered as intellectual property rights under the tagline of industrial property. Now coming to copyright. Now copyright is applicable to literacy work, artistic work, as well as recipes. You cannot file patent for it. And traditional knowledge is zonal specific, regional specific. So those things I will discuss in next slide. Now, what are the essentials of patentability? When we say the invention is patentable, it has to be a novel one, non-obviousness for the invention, inventive steps. A clear-cut invention can be defined and it should have a real-time application. So when we design something XYZ, okay, so novelty, the non-obviousness, that is prior art should not be there. Then inventive step, something new, the new process being defined to achieve that goal, and it should have commercial aspect. Now, other forms of IP rights. Now, protection of plant varieties and farmer rights, protection of traditional knowledge and undisclosed information, which we can discuss in geographical rights, right? Biodiversity, semiconductor integrated circuits, those things can be considered for filing intellectual property. Different acts. Now, to protect these intellectual property, government has defined certain protocol. The Patent Act in 70 amended, again re-amended in the year 2005. Then Trademarks Act 1999. Then again it is redefined in 2003. Because of the Industrial Revolution, Trademark Act is defined in various versions. 1999, the Copyrights Act being defined. 2001, Industrial Designs Act is redefined. Biodiversity Act 2002, Geographical Indication in 1999, Semiconductor Chips in 2000, and PPVFR in force since 2005. Now, what I'm telling is, it is not a single framework. Each and every invention being defined based on its segment, class, sector, right? If you are thinking of semiconductors and you want to patent semiconductors, there is a different law. If you want to patent your design or protect your design trademark, a different law is being framed. The same way, if you are worried about biodiversity, right, or geographic indications, a different pattern of law being governed by the patent office, which can help you to protect your own species, right? Now, what is not patentable? Simply having idea, irrespective of the domain, sector, or business, right? You cannot patent it. Any intangible substance such as computer program, you cannot patent it. Believe me, software cannot be patented. It can be copyrighted, right? So simply having idea and anything intangible substance such as computer programs cannot be patented. Idea should be converted into a prototype, which signifies the complete process or steps. The steps may not disclose the trade secret, but there should be a transition from A to B in that process that has to be defined, which can be patented. So I am having an idea, I can go for a patent. No, nobody will entertain you to file a patent. Then inventions regarding hazardous which can create nuisance to the community or society are not patentable. AK-47 is not patented. It's an invention, was invention, but it is not being patented. Inventions injurious to health of human beings, animals, are not allowed to file a patent, even though the scientist himself is an author, right? It is not allowed to file a patent. So things which are going to harm the society, things which are still in the inception stage as an idea, with the intangible assets, you are not going to file a patent for this, right? Then inventions related to defense, because security purpose, every nation has its own protocol. If you have done any invention with respect to defense, it has to be through proper channel, right? So you cannot file a patent on your name. Either you have to transfer it to a defense ministry who can take it forward, but you cannot be an author for that. Inventions for research which are going to harm the society, nation, they are not patentable, not allowed to file also, right? What is the registration process of patent, right? The basic thing is search the database, apply with complete specification, then publication. Now we will see what are the various steps involved in these three sets, right? So search means where you want to search, how you want to search, whether it is sector specific, whether it is nomenclature specific, or it is with respect to the technology. The application with complete specification. What you want to do with that application. So they will ask A to Z questions with respect to this filing the patent. They will identify which sector it belongs to, which class it is defined, what type of business you are looking at. Everything will be considered here, and publication. Once it is publicized, it will be open for cross examination. Even though the grant is being given, however, somebody can claim that it is our own invention. Those things we will discuss. So there are three basic steps. One is search, then apply with clear cut or complete specification, and third one is publicize. So once it is publicized, opposition, if any, they will open for it. Hearing, then opposition, examination, it will take time. Then finally, grant of patent. Once patent is granted, then also the corporate games can happen. They say that it is invented by us. Again, it is being used by the new company. Am I clear with these things? Is it fair enough if I go at this speed? Hello? 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 Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Well, now each IPR has its own lifetime. So there are 4 IPRs now, intellectual property rights. One is patent, second one is design, third one is trademark, and fourth one is geographical indication, right? Now, patent has a lifetime of 20 years. Now, after 20 years, it becomes a public domain. The rights, whatever is given to you, right? So you can claim it for maximum 20. Why this 20 years clause is defined? Because technological advancement creating something new inventions in the business world, right? So one needs to go for that novice idea, novice technology after a certain period of time. If it is not possible, then you cannot have your own rights throughout your lifetime. That's why patent, especially technological patents, makes money in this 20 years, where they have their bracket rights for applying or using their royalty. Renewable every year by paying fees. Patent right is from date of application, and it takes 2 to 3 years, even though registration, after that getting patents, 3 to 5 years it takes time. Earlier, there was a huge gap between filing date and patent grant date. But because of certain policies, now you can visualize your own patents in 3 to 5 years. So patent lifespan is 20 years. Once it is granted, it has to be renewed every year. Patent right is from date of application, and 2 to 3 years required for registration. Registration in the sense you will get an initial date as in pre-filing your patent, but they will examine, they will cross-check the sector, then again they open it for cross-examination. The entire process takes at least 12 months duration. Once it is being framed, then again they will open it for cross-examination. So entire thing will take 24 months to understand your patent has some value addition in intellectual property market, right? So that's why it takes 3 to 5 years to get final patent in your name. Now, rights of patent holder. Once patent being assigned to you, right? You have commercial value for that patent. It gives license for production, and it is whole and soul your property, just like a sweat equity in startup company, right? Once the company has performed, then the value of your set equity or whatever equities you are getting, it is a multiple of numbers. Okay, so it gives a license. Somebody, if they want to copy or they want to get into a production, they are seeking permission from you. Either you can subscribe, you can give license for next 2 years or 5 years for the manufacturing, right? You can generate revenue as a royalty from those manufacturers for every book sold, isn't it? Or every product sold. And the marketing rights is always with you. So once the patent is granted, the complete right is with the author. So he can decide whether to give it out, he can decide whether to sell it outright to a manufacturing firm or give it to a company who is working on this R&D, or he can make some arrangements, agreements, say next 5 years I am allowing you to do this or manufacturing, right? So 2 years, only one part of those patents can be agreed for somebody else, third party players. So as long as you are the owner of that patent, you have every right to decide whether to sell it off, take the exit from your patent, or get royalty throughout your lifetime, right? So here, a sample of patent filed in US, right, by HCI Technologies, which is, they have filed it in the year 2020, and the patent is finally granted in the year 2022. So it has unique patent number. Once it is filed in US, it is applicable all over the world. Okay, it's like getting visa for US immigration. Okay, so the tuning, the cross checking, everything will be done in a proper manner. Why I'm telling you this is, in India, patent laws are not that supportive for an author or inventor. If somebody copies your patent, you cannot fight it in a court, okay, unless it is globally recognized by WIPO. Okay, so that's why it is said it has geographical lifespan. But if you are filing a patent with WIPO or PCT, then it is globally accepted. Same way, if you are filing it in India and filing in US, the cost escalation is 3 times or 5 times, you can see, right? So here lawyer may say, if your patent is being copied by someone, I will return your money, whatever you have invested. But that is not the case in US landscape, IPR landscape. Once it is filed and once it is granted, you are protected throughout the country, not country, throughout the world with that intellectual property. That's why all technological companies, they are preferring to file through PCT. And when they want to buy the patents, right, They are not buying one by one. Suppose our own students filed something in mobile application as an OIS technology, right? They are not buying one by one. They are getting the punch in that entire sector. Whatever the technology is being defined all over the world, all 30 inventions being grabbed by those telecom majors. Now, the second part of intellectual property is trademarks, right? So why trademarks are important? When you want to do or perform your business in global scale, you should segregate with the local players and people should recognize your brand throughout their life cycle, right? So it could be in terms of company name, brand name, product name, the logo, the punchline. For example, if you see Nike, right, that hockey stick aroma, the moment you see, yes, you can recognize that it is a branded product. Am I right? And after seeing that signage, you can think that, okay, this is from Nike. So that way they are protecting the brand, means something associated with trust factor. Am I right? Correct? So when you are buying something, you look for brand name. And brand name is established based on the trust factor between businessman and the customer. The moment you see that signage, you feel that yes, a branded banda hai, huh? ये branded product hai. The moment you see Tata logo, right? That means something for society. So you can expect X factor in quality. You can expect price tag in this range, right? So some punchlines there can be. So Infosys has its trademark or punchline, or Cafe Coffee Day has its own punchline. Anything can happen over a cup of coffee, right? So people remember those words throughout their lifespan by seeing the signage, maybe seeing the slogan or the color shade combinations, what you are using in your business, right? That way you can interact your entire business. Essentials of trademark. Trademark registration is per mark and per class. So the class, as I said, right, for service class, a different factor is for manufacturing. There are 47 different classes being identified in trademark segment. Okay, so in that 1 to 34 are related to trade, which trade you are into, B2B, B2C, or it is into FSI, that is healthcare, or into a food business, right? Then 35 to 47 is service related. What type of service you are providing? It is service, online service, or some other form of service, delivery service, right? So once you file for a trademark, the trademark or patent office, trademark office is segregating your signage or the logo in one of these 34 trades. Then they are looking for a service. Based on that combination, they will search whether anybody has filed trademark with this combination name or some sort of logo, right? So then they will allocate that rights to you if nobody is in that class or segment. So what is the lifespan of, so Symbiosis itself is a trademark, right? The word R says it is registered. So registered in the sense it is already filed. So you are liable to punish if you are copying the symbol without our permission. Understood? The R symbol says it is registered trademark. You cannot copy, use it without our permission or our consent. Now, what is the lifespan of this trademark? So, lifespan of any trademark once it is granted is 10 years, and you can renew it further for next 10 years. So, what's the time duration? 1 to 2 years, you will get that registration. Nowadays, it is maximum 1 year. Trademark will be given to you, assigned to you in within a span of 12 months after registration. Okay, right is from date of application. So they will give you prior date. Okay, that itself is an indication that you have filed for intellectual property rights, and you are the early bird advantage, right? You are the first one to file that. That means the right is with you. You can compete with anybody else who are filing even by a single day, right? For the right. The third category is design. So design, architectural design, it could be, or industrial design, mobile design, or any sort of business designs are under this umbrella. Okay, there is a difference between patent and design registration. Patent is technological one, design is aesthetic one. So critical examination of process product in case of patent, but design registration considers only aesthetic look here. Okay, so mobile phone design, right? You can create a intellectual property right. To be precise, Coca-Cola bottle, the design is patented. Not any player can copy the same design without the consent of Coca-Cola, right? So design is for aesthetic look. Even you can file a design right with respect to architecture of any of this building. Okay. Now, what is the lifespan? It is simply 12 months registration period. The right is given for 10 years, renewable for further 5 years. In case of trademark, it is renewable for 10 years. In case of design, it is renewable for 5 years. Civil remedies against infringement. Yes, there are ombudsman or the person who can settle this matter in every patent or design office, right? But it is always seen that nobody is going to copy the design what you have bracketed for yourself. The next one is the interesting one is copyright. So copyright is applicable for literacy, artistic work, music, songs, paintings, labels, advertisements, computer software, architectural work, website, recipes of so-called kitchens, right? So the right of this intellectual property is there with 60 years after the death or demise of that creator. That means a person is fulfilling his life for 60 years. 60 years plus next 60 years, he is having that right. That's why the dynasties or the siblings of music composers are getting royalty throughout their lifetime, right? A Bollywood music which is being composed has its own copyright. Same way the script of a movie is copyrighted from day zero, right? The director, producer has to get this bracket for artists as well as music composers. Same movie cannot be copied without the consent of the original producer. So this copyright business is highly influential in literacy and artistic work. Same way recipes, okay, signature dishes by certain restaurants, right? They are patented. So trade secret they call it as. It should be large enough to convey the message, but short enough to give the complete details about your literacy work. Burger, Mac burger, right? So it is copyrighted by the McDonald. The way the recipe is being made, the design or the way the buns are being placed one above the other, the same quality can be maintained throughout. Copyright for lifetime and plus 60 years after that. Civil and criminal remedies in this case 6 to 8 months for registration. So apart from patent, other three topics, that is trademark, design and copyrights, can be filed in a month of 12 months duration, right? So trademark and design, they attract civil laws, but patent and patent and copyrights, they are attracting criminal remedies based on the complexity of the law, right? The next part is geographical indication. Yeah, before getting here, let me tell you, 2 years before, music composer Ilayaraja has given or addressed the public or government saying that his old songs cannot be reiterated in any of the music shows. Hope you can recall 2 years back, I guess, Ilayaraja, the music composer, well-known music composer in southern part of India, released that his musics or whatever songs he has been composed cannot be used in any of the orchestras, cannot be used by S.P. Balasubramaniam, even though he has recited in his original song, right? So they have that right throughout their lifetime. Anytime they can sue the person. Same thing happened in Goa, uh, in shack chacks, that is beach cafes, right? You cannot play the music without the concern of the author or composer, right? Even jingle bells, happy birthday jingle, right? That is that Warner Brothers, they are having the rights over that. You cannot. That's why it is not being showed in any of the movies that is singing that happy birthday song jingle in any of these movies. So they have the rights. Now the next part is geographical indication. So Paithani sari, Banarasi sari, Satara Kandipeda, Agra Peta, Yevla Paithani, Mahabaleshwar strawberry, Kolhapur chappal, Tirupati laddu. They are region specific. They are having the roots in that specific region. So you cannot copy that, you cannot use it, or you cannot take it as a commercial aspect unless you have the permission from that local body. So the rights is not given to any individual, it is given to a society or association, right? So if you remember the Puneri Peta, right? A society being registered, and then they claim that you cannot use this peta in the name of somebody else because the origin is with respect to Pune region. So the society being registered, and they have reserved the rights for Puneri peta, right? So let us recap. Copyright is for a period of lifetime plus 60 years. Then patent lifetime is 20 years. Trademark is for 10 years. And the cost involved in this for copyright, you can have it for maximum 2000 rupees as of now. Patent, it depends on the sector and technology. So you can say from 1.25 lakhs for industrial to 2.5 lakhs. There are 4 centers in India for filing patent. Regional offices, we call it as regional patent office. One is in Tamil Nadu, Delhi, West Bengal, and Maharashtra. So region wise, there are 4 sectors. You can file it in your nearby patent office. Trademark is given for 10 years. It is renewable. So its office is in Kolkata. So approximate cost for trademark registration is around 10,000 rupees. Now, if we see the landscape of patent filing process, right? So as I said, when you file a patent on day 1, right, you will be assigned with a priority date, which signifies that you are the owner from that day. Suppose it is novice, if it is totally new, you are assigned as an author for that invention, and that date we call it as priority date. And priority filing, the day you are filing with complete details, is given to a patent office or trademark office or copyright office. The foreign or PCT filing, here it is mentioned because PCT is worldwide office. If you file in PCT, your patent rights being protected across the countries. If it is regional office or maybe countries office, maybe Delhi, right? You are protected within that region. The same thing can be replicated across the borders down the line. Now, once it is done, filing is done, Dule, because they will accept your application. but they will provide or go with due diligence, the sector or the existing database where patent being filed or intellectual property is being filed respective, okay, trademark or design or patent or geographic indication. They will search in their database, assign a specific sector class for your claim, then they will publicize. Okay, the entire process takes minimum 12 months until publication of 18 months, right? Once it is publicized, then it is open for examination. Okay, somebody can claim it is my patent. They provide the required supportive documents or the proof or prototype, protocol, whatever it is, as based on the patent office recommendation, then they can refuse and appeal in the court. Now the second part is, if nobody is competing with your invention, sorry, right? A grant is being given, patent is granted, then it is open for opposition, right? So in this case, once it is granted, then corporates will play a major role. In earlier case, as a refusal, right, individuals can claim here because the changes, the novice things, research scientists working on it, right? So upgradation for filing or upgradation with your ideation, right? It has to be uploaded every time, every year. By the time somebody else will come with his own invention and telling that my intellectual property being copied by so and so, right? Now that refusal phase and appealing phase will take more time because they will ask both the parties to prove their claims. If it is a prototype, show us prototype, the complete steps, how the process being defined. It will take another 6 months duration, right? If individuals are not there, then they will grant the patent. Now the corporates start playing the game to get their early bird entry to the market space, that I will explain you in next case study. Okay, so the entire process till priority filing to publication, it is 18 months, right? Then once it is filed with maybe an international platform or in a countrywide platform, we call it as filing date. It takes 12 months. Publication date after 18 months. The entire process of granting your patent is 3+ years. You can say roughly it's around 3 to 5 years. Now, the interesting case with Bajaj and TVS, right? Bajaj has filed invention for its Discover bike with spark plug in 2000, I guess, 7. TVS has already introduced its flame bike in the market same time, right? Now, Bajaj sued TVS, telling that their invention being copied in their bike flame, and they have introduced. The intention here is not with respect to the filing patent or grant, but the intention is to avoid TVS to capture the market in the name of infringement. So Bajaj filed a suit in 2007 telling that TVS has copied their technology for its bike flame on 25cc bike, and the battle took around 10 years. Out of the court, I guess it is being settled, but still TVS closed its shop for flame bike and Bajaj Discover rule the world in commercial two-wheeler market, right? So if you see the entire landscape, right, the priority date, the day you file your application, right, from the recognition from the required or concerned office is for 12 months, right? Then again it will take PCT national phase deadline in the sense, so open for examination, refusal, grant, overall 30 months. Then they will open for country wise if you are filing it in a global scale, right? So PCT will open it country wise, maybe country 1 in US, maybe in China, then India, Australia, Africa. So every country, they will cross check so that you will be protected throughout the world with that patent. Now, patentability in India, right? What are the things we can patent in India? Medical device, yes. Software, patent in the sense, copyright you can do. Drug composition formulation. The word drug I am using here is a pharmaceutical drug, okay? Composition, that is a active proposition in that medicine that we can patent. Formulation of drug, right? In the form of capsule or in the form of oral drug, right? Those things can be patented. Then recombinant microbes. So there is something called large molecule, small molecule in the pharma sector. Those things which are reinvented, recombinated. Generic drugs, in other words, I can say, right? In market, you can get generic drugs, right? So they are directly the small molecule drugs that can be reconfigured by pharma majors in artificial way that can be patented. The process of formulation, right? So if you are manufacturing something novice A to B process is involved in that, that uniqueness or unique process can be used as a patent so that you can prevent somebody else to copy that process. Now, what cannot be patented in India? That's why I said it is region specific, right? Method of treatment, diagnosis, surgery, agriculture method, and horticulture methods you cannot patent because they are geographic as well as regional importance in Indian landscape. Naturally occurring microbes, you cannot copy that or you cannot file a patent, it's mine. Okay. The plant or animal per se. So biodiversity, here biodiversity comes into picture. These things you cannot say that it is patented. That's why here the animal law PETA, right? So those things are coming into picture. So you cannot file the treatment method, diagnosis, surgery in your name. So all these are being well framed in PCT bylaws, sector wise, class wise, and segment wise. So discovery and invention that plays a major role in filing a patent, and wealth and social good. The outcome of filing intellectual property right is to create wealth and social good. So if you are filing, if you are getting into a novice that I said, right, painkillers, that is no other go, you have to purchase it. बैठे बैठे ही आप दिन भर रात भर पैसा कमा सकते हो. So that type of product innovation, creating wealth for yourself. If something is novice, suppose a refrigerator which is designed for bottom of the pyramid, right? That can be patented, which can be used by certain NGOs or government for promoting the low cost refrigerators, which is involving commercialization as well as social costs. So economics, social economics, right? Now, when we say intellectual property rights, patents, trademarks, designs, copyrights, and geographical indications are considered. The things which have been created by our own intellectual way, right? The know-how technique can be considered for filing rights. So the entire process of ideation till company formation, right? If you are protected in advance, you can reap the benefit, especially product-based companies, right? So something innovative, they are filing that will get them a royalty throughout their lifetime, right? So being a inventor, having simple idea, you cannot file patent. You have to traverse till prototype method. That time you can say that this is the way I am going to generate this commercial aspect, or this is the way I'm going to design the new thing. So that way you can convince, and at that stage you have to think, I can file a patent for my betterment, for companies growth or nations growth. Later will come into picture. If you have filed patent at the stage of prototyping, that time your business model has more weightage. Investors are ready to invest in your company, and some time down the line you can think of selling that right to somebody or some manufacturer, so that you can, if manufacturing is not your cup of tea, you can give license to them, or outright you can sell it to a big player in the market, and your company can continue with your R&D work, research and development work. With this, I am concluding my today's session. Open for question and answers. IPR awareness session, why intellectual property is important, what are the different types of IPRs, how we can file it, what is the process, and why it is playing an important role in formation of a company. These things being discussed here. Now open for question answer if you have anything. One more thing I would like to highlight here. In Germany, the government has a norm. If you are filing a patent, right, any company, you have to give equity or royalty to the author or inventor by default. In our country, it is not true. Okay, inventor has every right? But in Germany, if you are filing something as an institution, the royalty or the percentage equity, it has to be given by default to the inventor. So with this, I'm concluding my session. Open for QA session. If any queries or any support. Srishti is supporting all these intellectual property filing activities. Those who are having intellectual assets, please let us know. We will protect your rights through a proper channel. Manisha madam, over to you.
Yes, sir. That was a great session, sir. When we got to know so many things. And I hope the students have also got to know. Anybody has any questions? Sir, I guess there are no questions from the student side.
Ma'am, I want to ask one question.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Sir. So like you say that this even traditional communities identity can be patented, right, sir? So
Correct.
like example, these traditional clothes and all, can this be patented as a community also?
As I said,
the design
Petha, right?
and all.
Puneri Petha, the design, the way it is being blended, right? That is patented. Patented is copyright, geographical indication, right? It is with the society. Yes, societies can be utilized to file a rights on the regional aspect. As an individual, you cannot do that.
Okay, okay.
Even if you say Rajasthani attire, right? That can be the rights of a society. You just check out, it is there in Rajasthan. A society is taking care of that. You cannot replicate it anywhere.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
But the artifact, the designs, that can be copyrighted. Hello?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Understood, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you,
Usually
sir.
you can copyright the design as an author or inventor, but the entire attire, you cannot have it on your name. It has to be through some society, a regional society.
Okay.
Be a owner of that rights.
Sir, then one more question.
May
Sir,
I know who's on the line? May I know who's on the line?
Sir, my name is Roman Pongoner, B.Arch second year.
Okay.
Sir, how can we protect this as a society? Like, what are the processes that has to be taken?
Yeah,
For if
you have
we
to
want to,
register that society. Yeah, correct. See,
yes, sir.
there are 4 forms of registrations. One is as a corporate, one is as a trust, one is as a society, one is as a non-profit organization or Section 8 company. Okay. So this society norms are regional specific. The norms which are prevailing in Maharashtra may not be same as the norms in other states. But societies are within the rights of magistrate. So they have a legal bracket, but uh, with a regional blanket actually, right? If you want to file or if you form a society, you need to identify the 2 members who are accountable for that, right? You need to have a separate account and other transparency in accounting books, right? And you can get the benefits as per the norms in that region. So form a society, it has its own, I think forming a society will take you around 6,000 to 8,000 rupees, irrespective of state. But prevailing laws are a bit different in every state.
Okay.
Okay. So either
Okay.
you can form a society or trust kind of thing, which are taking care of it. But trust has some other purpose, but society with the help of say NGOs or a local government representative, that makes sense.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Any more
Thank-
questions?
Any more questions anyone has?
So thank you, madam. I think we can conclude the session. So for any queries, you can reach out to me in admin block 204.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for sparing your valuable time and giving us so much of insights on IPR. Thanks a lot, sir, and looking forward to many more such sessions. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Have a good day.